yelling on me because I said YouTube right now. He's not allowed to watch YouTube, so anytime we hear YouTube, he tells on me. I'm on YouTube, buddy. Tell mom. So hang on, guys. Sorry, because I said YouTube. There we go. All right, cool. So we're gonna go ahead and jump right into it. So let me go. I'm gonna go to Ryan. I'm gonna go to your question first, assuming that you gave me a little bit more detail in the chat. Give me 1 second when you get there. And go tag your people and get them on this call. So Ryan, objection to KT. I'm going to look at other insurers and compare policies. How do you object to that? I want to know for the future. Okay. So if somebody was like, oh yeah, I want to go get other quotes, or I want to go look at other policies, or I want to compare or whatever, I just always ask them, like, awesome, do you have the other policy available? And if they say no, then I would ask them, hey, do you have a policy from us currently? No. Okay, great. The only way you get a policy is by applying. That's how you can look at it. And guys, you all witnessed yesterday us talk about a life insurance agent talking about some garbage. Josh, tell everybody the outcome of that call yesterday real fast. We forgot
the outcome is we called them and she admitted to misquoting the client by omission, right?
On purpose.
And then on purpose, and then said that, well, when we actually write the policy, that's when we change it. That's when we inform them after we gave them the incorrect number, right? And then it was just so funny because even when we quoted exactly the way that she quoted us or quoted our client, we were still cheaper, giving her a 30-year term, offering way more benefits. And she admitted that there is no living benefit. So even if our client were to get a terminal illness, she's got no foundation under her. She's screwed.
Yeah, and that's like, so I want you guys, like, remember that when you're talking to clients, like, well, let me go get other quotes other places. Be like, hey, awesome, I definitely want you to shop around and I'll go toe to toe with whoever it is that you find, but we have the best rated policies for a reason. And so let's get this one started and you find something else and we'll compare it side by side. And if it's better somehow, then you'll get all your money back. But this way, at least you're covered while you're thinking about it, right? While you're shopping around, at least you're covered, right? Because you're not going to go shopping for a car on a highway, right? You're not going to go walk around on I-96 in the middle of Lansing to look for a car. Like, that's stupid. And so basically kind of give them that same thing. Like, hey, you're not going to go do this on purpose, right? So you're not going to go get hurt on purpose. But at the end of the day, what happens if something happens in the next month while you're shopping around? And I always ask a lot of tie downs too on that. So, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Klein, I definitely understand that you want to take some time to shop around. Well, let me ask you a question. While you're shopping around, if something happens to you, how is your family going to be financially okay? Are they going to be able to pay all their bills? Are they going to be in a good spot? Well, no. Okay, great. So wouldn't it make sense that while you're shopping around, you at least have conditional coverage in place? Yes, it would. Okay, great. So what we're going to do today is we're going to fill out the application, get you the conditional coverage in place, and get you a policy that you can then look at and compare. Does that make sense, guys? Some of you guys look like you're sleeping. All right, let's see. What other things did you guys want me to talk about? Bree, I'm struggling to get new people to not respond to messages when I sent. I'm struggling with still getting new people. Bree, can you explain that a little bit more, possibly?
Yeah, sorry, I was trying to take care of the kids.
No, you're good. I was just trying to understand it, and I think I know what you're saying, but can you just clarify and read it or tell everybody else too, so I can answer it?
Yeah, so when I'm sending off like the daily 50 messages to, like, I add like the 50 to 100 friend requests every day, and I send out the messages, and I'm like, hey, like, hey, I'm just starting on the financial field, and I'm just trying to get my name out there, or would you be willing to give me 20 minutes of your time so I could stop, please? So I could give you, so you would know what I'm doing enough to refer me out for the future, or so I could help you, whatever. They just leave me on red. Like, how is something else I can do?
So direct messages is a 2 to 3% response rate. Okay. So you just have to know the game you're playing. You got to know that in baseball, you don't get to hit with a hockey stick. Like, And so in the game of direct messages, you're not going to bat over 3%. It's just not going to happen. Now, there might be some days that you're at 5 or 6. There might be some days that you're at 10. Maybe you'll send 50 messages and 10 people will respond to you. That's an incredibly high rate, but typically the law of averages and the numbers that I know from my marketing experience, like you're going to get 2 to 4% on the high end of responses from cold messages. Cold messages should not, everybody type should not in the Zoom chat. It should not be your only source of people. And I'm not saying it is, so I'm not like yelling at you, but it should not be your only source of communicating with people. You should have a 5 to stay alive. You should have 5 places that you're meeting people. This is why I haven't talked about it too much in the last 3 months or so, but y'all, if you don't have people to talk to, should have a networking group. You should, if you want this to work the way that a lot of you are saying that you want this to work, my challenge to you would say, how is it going to work on 3 hours a week, the size and the bigness and the speed that you want it to work, right? And I'm not trying to be mean. I am just saying that if I wanted to make 100 grand a year in Primerica, I had to move things around. I quit playing hockey. I stopped playing video games. Like I stopped doing things that weren't moving my Primerica business forward. Does that make sense? And Bree, I'm not saying you're not doing the right stuff. Bree, you're doing awesome. And I'm very proud of what you're doing right now. And I know you're going to be big here, but for other people, and honestly, you know, Bree, maybe for you too. And I'll just be real. Like, I really believe that if we're all doing a real 5 to stay alive and putting intentional effort behind all 5 of our different things, that we would have a little bit better results. And so if the 5 to stay alive is you need to have 5 renewable sources of places to get names and numbers. So for me, and I don't go to any of these places specifically to try to get names and numbers, but I do get names and numbers at all of these places. Okay, so the first one, what?
And you build community.
Yeah, and I build community and friendships, and like I'm just the person that people can rely on in all of these places. The first one, my first one that I have is my social media. So you can absolutely have social media be one of your 5, but notice it's not a 1 to stay alive, it's a 5 to stay alive. And a lot of you treat social media like it's the 1 to stay alive. Primerica started 47 years ago, long before Facebook did. So you don't need Facebook to be successful. Yeah, you didn't have social media. Social media is a freaking gasoline can to your forest fire. Like you just dump it on top and it can light this thing up for you. But if it's your only thing, you're going to run out of fuel fast.
So how can they rely on you on your social media?
So number one, on social media, like Taylor is asking, how can people rely on me on social media? I am a transparent person on Facebook, and I tell stories about our life, and I draw people in so they can connect to me, and then I build community through the comments and messages. That might sound stupid, guys, but honest to God, Facebook, social media, Instagram, like that is literally like the town square now. Y'all know that, right? Like people used to go downtown, hang out with people, they would talk and see all their friends and drink at the bars. Now people go on social media at night. And so that's where people spend their time and they hang out. So I am going to intentionally build community. If you go look at my last couple of reels I posted, like they're about our story. Like it's me giving a 45-second blurb of our story. So I'm more relatable to them. Right. So that's how I use social media. Josh, what's up?
I just wanted to add to what Bree was saying. Bree, I start off, I don't ever, if I'm being honest, when I direct message people, I start off with a, hey, how are you? This and that. And then I'll transition into that. Hey, I want to give, I'm working on some state and federal licensing. I might include that we help middle to low income families with their financial planning, things like that. We do financial game plans for free. Or I'll send a voice message, because about half of the people on Facebook think that you're either a robot or an AI or whatever anyway. And when they hear your voice versus getting that text message, right, it kind of clicks with them a little bit different. So I encourage you to start off with more forming questions. Form them first. Even if you're just messaging them, form them first. Ask them, about their family, where they're from, where they, what do they do for their occupation, things like that. Go into recreation and then motivation. We do it even in the presentation in the beginning, because you have to eliminate awkwardness. And when you're just text blasting people without forming them or creating some kind of rapport with them, that's when it's awkward.
Yeah, and
You know, so I just wanted to add that.
yeah, I was gonna say to Josh's point, like if you build a little bit of a relationship there first, your like actual response rate will go up in terms of like people that will schedule with you. So if you build that relationship, it's gonna go up. I just cold message everybody. I don't spend 10 minutes trying to build a relationship with them on Facebook. So anyway, back to the 5 to stay alive really quick, because there was no other questions. Well, Tammy, you had one, and I'll come back to that one in a second. But outside of that, I'll come back to that. It's a quick one. But so I use social media. The church that we go to now, don't go to church to build a business, but there's a lot of people there, right? And you can build a relationship and credibility, and you should, because it's good for your soul and a lot of other reasons. But that is one of my 5 to stay alive. I get a lot of names and numbers there, but I don't go to the church specifically looking to like build my business, if that makes sense. So that's another one. Our gym that we go to. So the gym is definitely a renewable source of people. There's 20 people at every class. And so I go to different classes throughout the week just to kind of build a relationship with people there. And then you should have some type of networking group that you're a part of, like a in-person, real life, like BNI style Chamber of Commerce, something like that, where you're meeting real humans, not a busy mom's Facebook group. That's not exactly a networking group. Now, to what you said before, Christy, you certainly can use those groups, but that's not a networking group. I would just lump that in with social media. I would not consider that to be a networking group, because it's really not. You're not in that group to pass each other referrals generally. You're in that group to talk about how to become a better mom or something like that. And don't be the guy in the group or the girl in the group that's like, come join my team. Like, that's weird. No one wants you to be in the group anymore if you do that. So, and then my 5th one always changes. It's always shifting around a little bit. Right now, I don't really have a clear-cut 5th one because I don't necessarily need it, but I do a lot of prospecting out and about. I probably get 1 or 2 names and numbers a day. And so you need to have 5 places that you can go to get people to talk to. And a lot of you guys have 1. And that's why we get frustrated sometimes of like, we're not moving as fast as we want to be. I'm only doing one thing, or I'm only, I'm not setting up appointments, both appointments. It's one or the other. And we have to make sure we're doing both of those things. So Tammy, I'm going to go to your question really quick in the chat. Hang on one second. Christy, yes, you can go to vendor events if you want to, but you need to be licensed. And you need to have business cards that are compliant, which you can buy once you're licensed from online. Tammy, what to say when recruiting? Are you saying like the recruiting appointment? Like, what am I saying on the appointment? Like the script, basically? Okay. I'm going to put the appointments there. The recruiting audio, the Ian Bruckner recruiting audio in the Telegram really quick. Once I find it, hang on. I think this is it. Yeah, this is it. Okay. I'm going to put this in, excuse me. I'm going to put this in the Telegram right now. Listen to that, memorize that, get really good at asking those questions. That's going to help you with, I follow that basically to a T. I skipped one section by accident, but I've been skipping one section and not realizing it, but it's been working. Don't try to figure out which one I'm not doing. Just do what's working for you, because a lot of my ability to close has to do with my ability to sell stuff. I'm good at sales, so I know that. So follow this to a T, this recruit audio that I just put in the Telegram, and don't freaking change it. It's literally designed for anybody to be able to walk through a presentation and close. Okay. And if you're closing less than 50%, it's just the skill that you need to get better at. That's all. And you can be mad about that if you want to, or you can say, hey, I'm going to get better and get better. We have one of those 2 options. So the group coverage, explain how to break down the pros and the cons of group coverage. Yeah. Okay. So, hey, there's 3 main things wrong with group life insurance. Is it okay if I tell you how what those 3 things are? And they'll say yes. And okay, cool. So first off, whatever you get for free, awesome. Keep it, take it. Free is good, right? But anything that you're paying for, you don't get to take with you. And so, if Caleb, you're basically renting your group life insurance, and if you ever leave your job, quit, anything like that, you no longer have that with you, or you no longer have that life insurance. And so now you're uncovered and you're older and you need to go get it. Okay. So that's number 1. Number 2, Caleb, like, I don't know about you, but I've never seen anybody like outside of a job picketing because their benefits are getting better, right? Like they're always out there protesting and on strike because the benefits are getting worse. They cut benefits, whatever, right? And so the reality is you're not in control of your benefits, really. I mean, we might think we are, but we're not. It's up to the company to keep our benefits in place. And so, we want to make sure you have it outside of there. And then last but not least, like, if you were ever to come off of active payroll, not even saying you got fired, let's just say you got sick. Like, I don't know if you guys remember 2 or 3 years ago when COVID hit, if you were off of work for COVID for a week and you were off of payroll, they didn't have to pay out your life insurance anymore because you were off of active payroll. So if you're on, like, I'll just say this, if you're on this call right now and your only life insurance is through your job, you need to talk to your trainer like today and get that fixed, because you're not covered like you think you are. But when I'm meeting with a client, it's like, I don't know if you knew any of those things, but all three of those things are true. And I can show you in your group life insurance policy. Also, Caleb, the fourth thing, this is a little bonus one for you guys. The fourth thing is, Caleb, if you wanted to access your life insurance policy right now, right this second through your job, do you have access to that 150-page document, or would you have to go to HR to get it? Oh, I'd have to go to HR and get it. No one ever has it. No one has it. They have a little 1-page, you have life insurance. It's a freaking, yeah, it's impossible. And it's almost impossible to get the actual policy. And then when you get it, Caleb, let's say miraculously you got the policy and you actually had it to look at. Caleb, whose name is on the policy? Is it your job or is it your name on the policy? Oh, it's the job, right? Okay, so if your name is on it, or if your name's not on it and you can't access it, then who really has life insurance? Your job or you? Your job. They have it on you, right? So wouldn't it make sense, Caleb, that we got something that covered you and your family and made sure that you had that locked in so that your family wasn't left in a financial bind, God forbid something happened? Cool. I'm going to pull up.
Life insurance over the position, not the person.
Yeah, Taylor said group life insurance is life insurance over the position, not the person. I mean, that's basically what it is. I mean, more or less. Okay, Amber, how do you confront somebody on the fly in person without making it awkward? What do you mean confront somebody? I'm not like cornering them, throwing flyers at them. What do you mean by that? Can you clarify what you're saying?
That was good. I'm not cornering them, throwing flyers at them.
I'm so sorry. That came off so wrong. No, not
Oh,
like
it's okay.
of the word I wanted to use besides confront, but just like when you're on the fly, like out and about, like you're at the grocery store, you're at like wherever you're at, and like you see someone and you're like, oh, I'm gonna like just kind of get my 3 people today or whatever your goal is. Like, what's your initial, like when you first walk up to, like, how do you what's your opening statement, so they're not just like, who is this random person walking up to me or talking to me and talking to me?
Yeah, so first of all, don't corner people in the grocery store. That's weird. Don't do that. So but hang on, I have to show this video from Andy's presentation because it's the best, because this is how some of y'all act when you talk to people. Hang on. I need to find it first. This will be good, I promise. It's worth waiting. Did I delete it? I'm gonna be so mad if I deleted it. No, it's not really even a video. It's like a GIF that Andy shared when he was there. It is. Okay. Okay, so this is how some of your, and I'll tell you, I'm friends with most of you on Facebook, and I've seen your Facebook pages, and it does look like this. So if you think I'm talking to you, I probably am. And so let me see, find it. Here it is. Okay, so this is how some of you guys are acting on social media about the Primerica business, about your Primerica business. Like, you're running all over the place and you're just throwing flyers at people and you're just like waving it around in their face, like, come learn about my business, come do my business, right? You literally act like this. You're throwing crap at them all the time and you're just being awkward. Like the screen says on the last thing, this guy could have a map for $1 million buried somewhere, but if he was just out there acting like that, trying to give you the map, would you follow the map? I wouldn't. I know damn well I wouldn't. I know you wouldn't either. So why are we doing that all over our social media, right? It was like every other post is, come work with me, come work with me, come work with me. Are you looking for work? Are you this? Are you that? Working from home is awesome, blah, blah, blah. Like, go to my Facebook. When was the last time I posted about that? When was the last time I said, hey, work from home? Never, like, not a long, it was a long time ago, probably a few months at least, probably in December. And that one might even be hidden. You might not even be able to see that one. But yet I'm still recruiting 10 or so people a month direct. Why? Because I built, like I said at the beginning of the call, I built a social media presence that people can come to me and rely on me because I'm consistent. And I talk about consistent things that relates to them, right? So let's see, was there something else I was going to talk about? I think so. Oh yeah, Amber. So you said, how do I confront somebody and fly? Yeah, okay. So first of all, don't corner them, right? I think that's the first takeaway. Don't corner somebody in the produce aisle or in the cheese section of the grocery store. That's weird. So I personally, guys, I never ever like prospect random people. I don't just like walk up to the guy walking down the dog food aisle and be like, do you want to join my business and buy life insurance? Like, that's super weird. Like, I can assure you your success rate on that is going to be very low. So don't do that. I mean, I guess I shouldn't say don't do that. You could do it. You could go, Andy said, you could go set up a tent in front of Target and recruit a couple people a day. Like, for real. Like, you really could, just because of the business. But don't do that. That's inefficient and it's not great market people, right? So with that being said, I always am looking for somebody who has provided a service to me. What do I mean by that? They have, there's a waiter, waitress, right? They're checking me out at the gas station, not in a weird way. They're behind the register and like, I'm buying stuff, not Kelly. I know where your mind's all in the gutter over here. Okay, so calm down. Not like looking at me at the gas pump. That's weird. I'm leaving. They have a creepy van. I'm out. But if they're helping, if they're serving me in some capacity, being that their job is a service job and I am somehow doing something that they're helping me and they do a good job. Amber, I was Amber, you did a great job serving our table today. Let me ask you a question. Like, how long have you been here? Like, what do you like about it? And I'm just going to get to know them. I'm going to ask them a couple questions about the job that they're doing. Yes, I will in a second. And I just prospected somebody with Freya the other day, actually on Saturday after my competition. It was at Applebee's. We went to Applebee's and we're getting dinner, we're talking, and the lady did an amazing, I mean, honestly, probably one of the best waitresses I've ever had. And I just asked her, I was like, Hope, let me ask you a question. Like, do you plan on working here forever or do you keep your options open? And she was like, well, I definitely keep my options open. What do you got? I said, well, my wife and I run an insurance and investment business and we're just always looking for great people. I'd love to schedule a time to meet with you and tell you about what we do and see if it's a good fit. See if we could get you to make a little bit of more money, a little bit better hours. No promises, but it'll be worth a shot. And so we were supposed to meet yesterday, but then her mom had to get rushed to the hospital. So we're going to meet today. It's crazy the amount of family emergencies I have to deal with also every day. It's insane.
I always like to tell people, Dan, I said, man, I must be bad luck. I'm about to, go to church and get dipped in holy water because every time I schedule appointments, airplanes crash, tires fall off of cars, kids catch fire, fish die, dogs get lost. It's insane, dude. I'm like a walking, talking disaster, just like a plague over everyone. When I talk.
No, for real though. It's the funniest thing. The least safe place a person could be is on my calendar.
Let's go.
But for real, but in all seriousness, yeah, I just know that the cold market prospecting is going to be similar to direct messages. Like, you're going to get 10 or 15 numbers and you'll close a couple. Nothing crazy. For instance, like Taylor went to Mattress Firm and got a number from a guy and we went over there and I recruited him in person. This dude's paying $200 a month on an IUL. And I showed him how bad it was and I showed him how terrible it was. And he still hasn't responded to a freaking text message, but he's read all 8 that I've sent him in the last week. So thank you for the wood chip. So yeah, there's nothing you can do. That's just people, guys. You got to understand that's just how people are. But on the other side of the coin is like, you just got to have more people, right? And the other thing, last thing I'll talk about, guys, is make sure you guys are understanding how to set up appointments. Right? How to set up appointments, both appointments, not just recruiting, not just kitchen tables, right? It's a catch-22 business and most people can only do one. They only do one thing at a time. So they're either only recruiting or they're only doing kitchen tables. You're juggling both if you're building the business. If you just want to make money, set up kitchen tables. If you just want to build a team and you don't care about making money right now, you could recruit all day long. because you're not going to make a lot of money in the beginning just by recruiting people, but you're not going to recruit very many people by just setting up kitchen tables. So you want to do both of those things. And it's important that you guys are continuing to build and add to your list of people. That's why we have 1,000 persons name list and the 5 to stay alive. The 5 to stay alive fuels your 1,000 persons name list. Right. So like if you don't currently have a notebook that you're writing like physically, I don't care, not on your phone, physically writing names on that you have 1,000 people, you need to, because that's going to be how you never run out of people to talk to. And you need to be, you know, once you're, and guys, I know a lot of you guys are licensed and you're still trying to figure out like, how do I set up more appointments for life insurance, right? It's the same thing. Hey, I just got some financial licenses. I want to show you what I'm doing. So if you or anybody you know could use it, you'd feel comfortable referring to me. What's better, weekends or weekdays? It's the same thing. You're just taking out the word training. And if you want to keep the word training on there and you're going to take somebody with you, that's great. You're just going to get half the commission most likely that you're eligible to. But half of something is better than all of nothing. Yes or yes? Would you rather make 50% of 1,000 or 100% of 0? You pick. And that's really, you need to learn how to set up appointments and continuing to, a lot of you guys are really good at attracting people to ask you questions and building relationships with people, but for some reason, there's a mental block. And I did this for a long time in the gym. There's a mental block of saying, I don't want to do business with my friends because I don't want to be that guy. At the end of the day, they're going to get screwed over by this idiot that Josh and I talked to yesterday if we don't meet with them. You understand that? These people are all over the place. We are the only company that forces our agents to do what's right because you don't have the option to sell that garbage to other people. So I want to challenge you guys. I guarantee you, every single person on this call has people right now that you're thinking of that I haven't talked to, and I need to call them and I need to talk to them. Do that today. If you do that, one of you guys, you'll recruit an RVP. I promise you. Your chicken list is where your RVPs are. It's where your big rollovers are. It's where all of the income you want, all the referrals. It's the person that's going to give you 10 referrals. And I'll leave you guys with this and then I'll shut up. A lot of you guys have heard me say this before, but I have the lady that I started my gym in. I won't say her name. But the lady that I started my gym in, her pole barn, she was in Primerica for about 18 months. Guys, she never, not one time, told me about Primerica. And to be honest, Caleb, she was probably the one person that I would have listened to about Primerica because I valued her opinion. She was kind of like a second mom to me, like in business, at least. She was somebody that I very much appreciated, and she helped me a lot. She gave me working opportunities when I needed to make a little bit of cash. She did not tell me about Primerica. And about 3 or 4 weeks into us building our business, she messaged me. I will read you what she said. Hang on. I will read you what she said. 1 second. I'll find it. Yes, at 10 a.m. It was appointment setting boot camp Saturday at 10 a.m. Appointment setting boot camp Saturday at 10 a.m. Appointment setting boot camp Saturday at 10 a.m. Just keep saying it over and over again because someone's going to text me later and say, what time is it? It's at 10. And if you can't figure it out, come watch the YouTube live broadcast and figure it out there. It'll be there. Okay, let's see. Wait, what? Yeah, it'll be an hour. Okay, so I messaged her on Facebook. I saw she posted something about Primerica. I said, whose team are you on? And then the next day she said, next level with Jason Rogers. Did you guys enroll? She said she's with Assad. I said, we've been in for 23 days, just hit 80%. We have 26 recruits and 18,000 in insurance, or 18,000 in insurance. She said, that's so exciting with one exception. I didn't speak to you first. I said, when did you start? She said, I enrolled a little over a year ago. She said, I have a question. How are you getting interest with online stuff? Blah, 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 blah. And then a couple messages down the road, she said, you were on my chicken list. I wish I would have reached out to you. I promise you have people like me on your list that you're not reaching out to because you think they're all set. I guarantee it. you know somebody that has a moderately successful business that from the outside looking in is incredible and unshakable, and it's rocking and rolling. But if you're on the inside looking out, it's a nightmare. I will tell you from experience that is what it was for us. And a lot of business owners right now, with the increased cost of goods and the increased cost of labor and everything else, they're not able to stay functioning. And I would challenge you guys today to make a list of 5 people that you haven't reached out to yet, or that it's been over a year since you've reached out to them, and put them on your list and contact them. Putting them on a list and putting them on your counter doesn't do you anything, but put them on a list and reaching out to them helps, I promise. And then talk to your trainer about how to get on an appointment with them. Guys, look, like, you're one recruit away from an explosion and literally changing your life forever. Like, the guy that recruited me, Andy, made like 50 to 100 grand off of us in our 9-month run to RVP. And I don't even care. It doesn't even bother me. I wish he would make more off of me, honestly, because he deserves it, because he did everything he could to help us. So guys, you're one recruit away from an explosion. Yeah, Shelly, I followed up with Shelly like a 1.5 years later. Same thing with Kelly. Followed up with Kelly like a 1.5 years later, a couple times even. It doesn't happen on the first time most of the time, guys. And that's what you just need to understand, that even if you're only in the business a couple months and you've reached out to somebody, they're waiting to see if you're going to quit, like you've quit everything else up until this point. And you have to continue to be consistent and show up.